Well, hey guys, I'm Nick and welcome back to Sci-Fanatics. Well, today we're talking about the very final trailer for Star Trek Discovery Season 5. It's just hit our airwaves and the new season, or the last season I should say, of Discovery airs in just over a month's time. So we've got some new imagery in this trailer to take a look at. It's just dropped. We're going to go through that, and there's some very, very interesting shots in here which have much bigger implications from a universe shifting level, which you guys are going to be very interested to hear about. And this sort of is going to, I'm guessing, play into our big adventure hunt for this season. We're going to take a look at some of these shots from the trailer in close up. We're going to zoom in on that little details in the background and see if we can spring what the secret is of the season. And we've got a few big ones to talk about. It certainly looks like this season is going to be a rollicking adventure, kind of an Indiana Jones in space kind of routine from the looks of it. And it looks like it's going to be a solid final season for the show. So we're going to watch through the trailer a little bit at a time and talk about it as we go and break down all those little details and shots and secrets and see what we can unlock on the latest and final trailer for Star Trek Discovery Season 5. Let's take a look.
It has been a hell of a journey. But everything ends someday.
The Discovery is my home, my family. We've always been able to find answers together.
Being a part of a crew, being where you need to be, when you need to be, that's Starfleet.
So here we have a very interesting, kind of almost what I would call, to use a Star Wars reference, a shot of the Star Trek version of Bespin. We've got some sort of space station here floating in the clouds, or a nebula. I saw this shot and I thought that sort of looks very much like Bespin to me. You know, we got the sort of hovering city there in amongst sort of a nebula, gas cloud layers and things like that going on. Very beautiful shot. I wonder what this environment is that they're visiting. Next we see a shot of Federation headquarters here with all the different starships and everything hovering around the whole installation as we have had and seen in previous seasons. Interesting to note in this shot here, and for that matter pretty much every other shot in the trailer, got him in an away mission kind of outfit at one point, but most of the time he seems to be wearing this outfit that we see him in here, which kind of implies to me that he's basically had a little bit of a change in structure. And he's probably no longer Captain Saru, he's been moved to more of an ambassadorial sort of role. Maybe he's like the Federation ambassador to Navarre or something like that, for example. But, you know, working side by side with Tarina and whatnot. But it definitely seems like he's not necessarily doing the whole starship captaining thing anymore and is taking on more of an ambassadorial sort of role in this season. Here we see Burnham and Saru on the cliff of this very beautiful looking planet. We've got some sort of castle there in the background, and obviously Saru and Burnham are both in kind of away mission outfits and so forth. So we do get obviously Saru taking part in some away missions and whatnot in this season. Here we see what perhaps could be a reuniting of Book and Burnham after a little bit of time has passed. We obviously know at the end of last season that Book went off to do his community service for his kind of treasonous acts with Ruan Taka in the last season, and maybe this kind of is a bit of a reuniting of the two. Maybe he's been off and doing his thing, and this is kind of the first time they met each other for some time while he's been off paying his debt to society. Here we see a pretty busy bridge shot of the Discovery. Lots of stuff going on, lots of characters, Tilly in the forefront and everything. But as we've said, no Saru here. So it seems like maybe we're going to be getting more headbutting going on between Burnham and this new Starfleet captain, Rayna, played by Callum Keith Rennie in this season.
Last dance?
I shall follow your lead.
The greatest treasure in the known galaxy is out there. It's more important than you can imagine.
Obviously, this puzzle box is going to play a pretty big part in this season and what it unlocks. We see some sort of trader here offering up this puzzle box. And he's got other things on the counter here, which we've seen before in Star Trek. He's got isolinear chip there in the foreground. We've also seen the old self-sealing stem bolt that we saw back in DS9 days, or whatever. Nog and whatnot had a massive shipment of self-sealing stem bolts that he was kind of trying to offload and everything. And they played a pretty regular kind of, reference in DS9. So it's kind of cool to see the old self-sealing stem bolt there in the bottom of frame as a bit of an extra prop. But what more interesting is we do actually get this puzzle box opening here in this trailer, which seems to contain books of some kind. So there's obviously books is a pretty big reference here. There's a big grand shot of a library coming up here in the trailer, which obviously is referencing books and everything. So the fact that this puzzle box is containing books of some kind is quite interesting. And we see Burnham and Culber and Book here in some sort of quarry here, facing off against some foe. It seems like maybe based on the fact that Culber's been put pretty front and centre in the poster for this season of the show, that maybe Culber's going to be taking on a bigger responsibility perhaps this season, or feature a bit more prominently.
We're on a search for one of the greatest powers ever known.
It could be very dangerous in the wrong hands. This clue is the most important thing. We have to keep it safe.
Let's fly.
We see this very grand looking library of books and everything here. Considering this puzzle box has books inside, it kind of implies that whatever these books are of some sort of very great significance to the plot for this season. We see Tilly here disguised as a alien of some description. Perhaps she's undercover, doing a bit of an away mission undercover, doing some reconnaissance or something in disguise. And we've got Mole and Lark beaming onto the Romulan vessel that we've seen in previous clips and trailers and so forth, in these very fancy looking EV suits that we've seen also before in a couple of shots in past trailers. Now, this next series of shots are what interest me the most. This is going to be very interesting because these shots kind of reveal something that has really piqued my interest about the plot for this season of the show. And that's this shot here of Lark in what appears to be a Constitution class sick bay, exactly the same as we see on the Enterprise in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. If we look at some of the detailing here, these objects on the wall, the doorway, this part of the bio bed and everything here. This is the Strange New Worlds sick bay Enterprise set. So it appears whatever is going on in this particular scene, these guys are on board a Constitution class starship. Based on the fact that we also see in the background here a Mirror Universe logo for the Terran Empire. It kind of leads me to believe a Constitution class ship in the Terran Empire. When was the last time we saw one of these things before? Well, if I search my memory back, I think the answer to that is pretty plain and simple, that it's from the In the Mirror Darkly episode of Star Trek Enterprise, where we saw Archer and crew take over the USS Defiant, which was a Constitution class starship. They took that over, and that was in the Mirror Universe. It kind of leads me to believe, well, okay, we've got a Constitution class ship here. They're on. We've got the Terran Empire logo. Does that mean our heroes and our story is in some way doing a bit of a universe jumping exercise, where we're jumping into the Mirror Universe for an episode here for whatever's going on? And how does this link up with the whole artifact and treasure that they're hunting down this season? And is this episode going to link back to that Star Trek Enterprise episode in A Mirror Darkly? I would be very interested to see if that is in fact the case. But the fact that we've got a scene taking place not only on board a Constitution class ship, which I'm guessing isn't then to be the Enterprise, it's probably going to be another ship, but the fact that we've seen a Constitution class ship before in a previous episode of Star Trek with the Enterprise episode there kind of leads me to believe there might be a connection there. So that will be very, very interesting to see if that is in fact the case. We've got a bunch of explosions going on here in space, some sort of space battle happening. And we've got a very exciting looking kind of speeder bike chase thing here with Burnham and Rayner and co and everything zipping around on like motorcycles in the desert while they're being fired on by some ship that's trying to take off. This looks like a really exciting sequence. And there's some really cool shots in this trailer that kind of imply that this season is going to be full of action and adventure and really be a kind of feature film level experience.
Crew, the family I found in Starfleet. We made a pretty good team.
We've got Burnham activating some sort of booby trap in this ancient artifact statue here in the jungle. The statue's eyes are shooting out into some sort of probes that maybe are some sort of grenades or some sort of Indiana Jones style booby trap that's planted here, which looks very exciting. And you know, in the Saru jumping for cover and whatnot. And this shot here really kind of interests me as well, where we've got the Federation Starbase 1 as seen in Star Trek Strange New Worlds. This is the 32nd century they're in now, and this is something that was back in the Strange New Worlds kind of era and everything. So it would seem odd that this is still operational and around. So it kind of leads me to believe, with the whole business going on with the Constitution class ship, whether that is in fact the Defiant, I'm not sure. But we've got that going on. We've got shots of this Starbase 1 here. What is going on here? Are they doing some time traveling in this season? Are they time traveling and universe jumping as well? It's some very interesting shots here, which obviously raise more questions than they answer. But it's kind of fascinating, and it's like, oh, okay, what is this season about? This has really got me interested. We've got the Discovery under attack by a bunch of ships here, and the trailer ends with a lot of hugs and tender moments from all of our crew. Obviously, this is going to be a bit of a tug on the heartstrings end of the season, where no doubt we get all of our characters hugging and saying goodbyes and all that sort of stuff as whatever is going on and the show's finishing and whatnot. So it looks like we're up for some good action and adventure, some very interesting potential universe or time jumping escapades as well. And I'm very interested to see what this Constitution class ship that they've shot in the Strange New Worlds sick bay sets here with the Terran Empire logo in the background, how that plays into our story, because that seems very, very interesting. And guys, if you've got some theories about what's going on with this, I'd be very interested to see your comments on this particular topic. So by all means, get to chatting in the comment section about that, and we'll see if we can put our heads together and work out what the hell's going on with these guys on board a Constitution class, in the Terran Empire. Very interesting. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to Sci-Fanatics yet, be sure to do so. Click on that big subscribe button to stay current and up to date with all the latest Star Trek news on YouTube. Subs have been down a little bit lately because we haven't had too much Star Trek content going on, but still appreciate if you can click on that subscribe button and help support the channel. Another way of supporting the channel, of course, is to check out my merch store, where there's always really cool hoodies, mugs, caps, Star Trek designs, other sci-fi designs and everything in there as well. Really appreciate your support, guys, and helping the channel, keep on rolling along in this bit of a lean time for Star Trek news. So much appreciated. I'll be back as always with my next video very soon, and I'll catch you guys then.